Listen to these two quotes. I don't know if y'all, I'm going to say them. This is not me. This is George Bernard Shaw made a quote. He said, progress is impossible without change. And those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. People who can't change their mind cannot change anything. Because I found out, I can look at Brother Keith, and he can be changed, but if I refuse to view him differently, then I won't know that he's changing. And so those who cannot change their mind cannot change anything. And so I am after a generation of believers who God has said we've got to use our brains more than we have ever before. We can't keep living off of feelings, off a lot of other stuff. We got to really use our brains, you know. And I'm going to say this and move on. For so long, a generation of church people have taught us to be inspirational, not intellectual. We've been told to be inspired by the Spirit. But he gave me a brain, and so I got to have some intellect to go with all the inspiration. Or your inspiration to jump off a bridge because no intellect. You know what I'm saying? So it has to be a balance between intellect and inspiration, that we can't just live in one. We got to live in both realities. And so I would rather have a group of believers who will use their brains than some who won't think anything and just follow after a spiritual hit, so to speak. Because how many of you really know that sometimes you got to turn your brain on to really think, is this really real or not? Is this for me? Is this not for me? You can't accept everything that's happening in life. Sometimes you got to use some mental faculty but the problem is if we don't use our brain, then nothing will ever change. And just because we've always done it this way doesn't mean it's the best way to do something. But if we hold on to that mindset that says this is the best way, the only way, then we'll never change. And I found out, I'm getting ready to teach this message, but I found out something that you would be amazed by. Everybody gets out of the bed around the same time every morning. We do our morning routine. We get into our vehicles, typically drive the same path to get to our same destination. But did you know that life is going on in another street than the same route you always take? And sometimes we deprive ourselves of some living because we won't change and just do one thing different. When the last time you drove a different route to work? Well, you know what I'm saying? Just to see is something else happening, because if I change something, I may see something differently. And so I want to encourage you. Let me give you a quote coming out of Detox. Frederick Douglass made a quote. Now I want to give this to you. You might want to cite this or quote this, and this is not mine, but I want to give it to you. He said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. If there is no struggle, there's no progress, which means change does not just happen. It's going to take some work, some effort, some energy. It's going to take some thought, but which means we got to struggle to be who I have in my past. I got to struggle to not be that person anymore. Because if I do nothing different, if I don't fight and force against the grain, then I will stay in a circle, which is my past. And I keep having the same experiences, the same thoughts. And so here's why we must go through this change process, because God could detox you or take something out of you. But if you don't change some habits, some thinking, you'll go right back to it again. Uninstinct, because you're not thinking to do something different. Does that make sense? Let's talk about this for a moment. Let y'all know when I start a series, I have to give you definitions so you really understand what we're talking about. Because I'm after an intellectual group of people. Change is to make the form, nature, content, future course of something different from what it is or from what it would be if left alone. So here's the reality. Just off definition, I want you to accept the process. If you leave your life alone and do nothing, you will be who you always have been. And you'll keep getting what you've always gotten. If you do nothing different, if something doesn't change, you'll stay where you are in life, which is pretty much unsatisfied. Can I be honest? Can we be honest for a moment? We all got some areas that we're not satisfied in. Y'all like it better when I talk about me. If I don't get up out the bed and go to the gym, inevitably my health will not change. It will stay what it is. Because I won't do anything different. And so if I leave it alone, I'm guaranteed it'll be what it always has been. I'm talking about me this morning. Talking about me. I'm not talking about y'all, I'm talking about me. I'm talking about y'all. Got a gym membership, a walking stick, got stuff, all kind of stuff. But I can buy all that stuff, but if I don't do anything different, hey, it's going to stay the same direction it's been going in because I won't change. And I think that's sometimes the problem with the believers. We're hooking into mechanisms, hoping for change when we don't want to change. To transform or convert, to substitute another or others for. But look at this, to become different, to become altered or modified, a transformation or modification or alteration. And I'm gonna teach it, but if nobody in this room is saying, God, please modify my life, then I should flip over my Bible to a couple of different pages and teach a whole different message. But the only reason why you're going to college is because you want something to change. The only reason why you go to work is because you want a different life. You don't want to be where you are now, so you're trying to do something to change something, make it better. If not, why work? I promise you, if you don't work, hey, you don't have to worry about nothing. Don't check the mailbox, don't pull the bills out, don't pay the bills, don't do nothing. I promise you will have a stress-free life right on the street. You won't have to worry about much. And I'm not knocking it, but that's the reality of it. But most of us are in a struggle somewhere saying, God, I need something altered in my life. So I need something to become different. I'm grateful for what I am, but I need to be something better than this. There must be more than what I'm currently experiencing in life. This can't be all it is to it. And so let me give you one other definition. Oh, no, I cut it out. All right. So flipping your Bible to Genesis 12. We're going quick, fast, and furious today. Y'all buckle up. I do not want to be here all day today, but I want to get this out because even that's changing. But everything is changing. All right, let me help. Let me really help. Let me help. Let me help more than what y'all let me help. My sisters, when I mean sisters, every female, no matter what age, you are the epitome that says something must change because you get up to your hair differently every once in a while. It's not that you don't like your hair. You just... Batting at 1,000, batting at 1,000. Batting at 1,000. But it's an obvious indicator that I look for new things. I get dissatisfied with something after a period of time, and so something has to change. You know, and it doesn't matter what we change. You can part your hair from left to the right. As long as something changes, we're okay. But the problem becomes when it stays the same way always, I become dissatisfied, and so we become prone to say something has to change every once in a while, or I become dissatisfied. I become bothered. So something's got to change. If not, you could leave everything the same. And so Genesis 12 becomes an epitome. And I want you to understand something. God is not interested in you staying the same way you are. I really want to bother you in this series to tell you God could care less if you're comfortable. He wants you to change. Because if you stay the same way, then you can only represent him on the level you're on now. But some points I need more influence. I need more of something, but I can't get more if I do keep doing this. Because at every level in life, you plateau out. You plateau out. You know what I'm saying? You get a job. If you do nothing different 20 years, you will plateau out at your promotion level. Your capability to be promoted is capped because you don't get a different skill. You don't take another class. Nothing changes. And so if you refuse to change, then you'll plateau out. But then you start seeing people progressing by. You become agitated and bothered and saying, why do they have? So Genesis 12, everybody get Genesis 12. And we're going to dissect change. And I want you to walk away saying, God wants me to change. God is after change. God is not after. I know they say God's the same yesterday, today, forevermore, but even those are three different things. And so God is a God of change. And I'm going to help you. God is a God of change. I'm going to push you and provoke you that God is not interested in you staying how you are now. For I know the thoughts and the plans I have towards you. He's wanting an expected end. He want to prosper, give you the expected end, a better future, which means all right, let me break this down. Does anybody believe that this is all the life there is to it? Be most miserable, wouldn't it? If I'm condemned to this spot in life forever, leave that alone. But if this is my judgments that's been passed me, that I'm stuck in this space in life forever, oh no. But then, how can we feel that way but not dare to do something different? So I want you to reject the penalty that you've been under of saying you'll be stuck this way forever and accept the reality God wants you to change. So Genesis 12 will be our foundation of transformation and change. Genesis 12, this is a very familiar passage, but we're talking about Abram. And everybody remember, say Abram. Not Abraham, but Abram. Even then we understand that something changed. This is Abram, not Abraham. This is Abram. And so Abram in chapter 12, verse 1, now the Lord said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee. Stop right there. You notice when God started talking, he instantly started trying to change something. Abraham, I want something better for your life, but you got to change something. Abram, this is before conversion. What am I telling you? That God is interested in you being better before you even get on the journey. God said, I got something better for you, but you got a responsibility in the process. So Abram, I got something better for you. But as long as you stay around the same people in the same place, I can't get it to you. So Abram, if you want better, sometimes you got to get away from your family and all your close, comfortable environment. And because if you do that, then you'll be able to see and hear what I want for you. So before I give it to you, I'll call you out of your complacency and tell you to go somewhere and be uncomfortable now. Abram, I got something better for your life, but you can't stay where you at now. I beg to differ with people who teach Abram wasn't poor at this point in life. Because when you read through it, Abram loaded up all this stuff and left. Now, what stuff did he load up if he was broke and miserable? You know what I'm saying? We got to really rationalize out the Bible, because when we read through it, Abraham loaded up a whole caravan of stuff and got out of Dodge. So I don't think Abram was miserable, broke, busted, and disgusted at this point in life. He might have been satisfied, but it wasn't because he was broke. And so God started telling Abram, I got something better for you, but you can't stay where you are to get it. So the first concept I want you to understand, God has something more for you, but you cannot stay where you are to get his best for your life. He's calling you out of where you are now, saying, but you got to go somewhere different. It's maybe just a little too rough, because most of us are holding on for dear life to everything we know so dearly. We're holding on for dear life, saying, Lord, just, the prayer become, Lord, just keep me. No, Lord, just push me should be the prayer. Because if you finish pushing me, I'll stop getting pushed on. But I found out, poor Saul, and Saul's not my message, but Saul, why do you kick against the prick? Don't you know it's hard to go against me? So what am I saying? Maybe the very thing that you're fighting, the force you're fighting is God in your life telling you to change and helping you to change. But we fight against it. So Saul, it's hard to kick against the prick. Keep going. I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. Let me ask you a question. What part is Abram's responsibility at this part in the conversation? Let me ask you, what part? Well, check this out. Let me go even deeper. Whose plan is this? So you mean it's not Abram's idea. This is God's plan. I'm helping you understand that do not fight the original plan God has for your life. Abram, it's before you get deeply ingrained into change, I already got a plan for you. I'm going to make your name great. I'm going to make a great nation out of thee. I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curse thee, and all the families of the earth shall be blessed. Well, everybody say, here's the problem. All right, I'm on. Change becomes difficult. Y'all don't let the Bible become alive. People, we turn off our brains in the Bible. When we read the Bible, we turn off reality. Come on, let me. Abram, you wealthy, you got your whole tribe around you, but I need you to get up and get away from them. Don't tell me that wasn't difficult. Don't tell me that God was asking Abram to be comfortable. I don't care if you're changing a habit, a city, a job, a relationship. It's going to involve some difficulty. But here is what I'm promising you, that if you would work with the change, you'll be better off in the end. So God will start telling you to change small stuff. And here's what, let me help you. God typically helps you prepare for change. Just start with small stuff. Give it the 5 suits. He's preparing you to get rid of a whole lot more stuff you just don't know what's coming down the pipeline. Because you understand, change is difficult on humans. And so if God wants, let's pick on Mr. Keith. If God wants her to get fired from her job or leave her job, you know what he typically do? He'll start slowly letting individuals agitate her. Before you know it, she'll be so agitated, she wants what his plan is to leave. She'll want it. But it's progressive because if everybody start coming against her one time frame, it will be overwhelming to her. And so change becomes difficult, so he slowly integrates change into you. But we didn't realize the whole time frame that he was trying to change something else. We was too busy fighting over this little thing, when all these were signs he was pointing to them would change something major around you. All right, so everybody say change is difficult. But change is more difficult when he forces it on you. This is the kind of problem I want to put some tension in your life. It's okay when I want to change. What about when I don't want to change, but he wants me to change? When he's going to force me to do it and I don't want to do it. We make it difficult when I want to do it. When I want to change my diet, it's difficult. But what about when the doctor says you got to change it? Oh, now it's difficult now. It's bad enough when I want to do it. But it becomes worse when somebody outside of you starts coming to you and dictating that you got to do something. It becomes more difficult. And so imagine the process of you wanting to change, but then God saying, you don't want to change. God saying, but I want you to change. Oh, change is difficult. We don't like to be honest enough, but especially when somebody's got to control the change. And so it's easy when you say, I'm going to change my diet, I'm going to lose 3 pounds this week. But when the doctor says you must lose 5, all of a sudden it becomes a crisis, because change forced and imposed upon you is difficult. Oh, I feel like change is difficult. I get such understanding sometimes. Change is difficult. Change is difficult. Just say change is difficult. I don't know if church people are ready to be honest, but I'm forcing honesty on Christians that says you can pray all you want to, but sometimes you're going to have to change, and it's not going to be comfortable. Neither will he give you permission to not change, because then that would mean he would let your will be greater than his will. And so, who's this? Pick on Chancellor. Chancellor could apply to every school locally, but if he says, I want you out of here, none of them will let you in, and you're going to have to change. So change can be forced on you. And most of us, if the truth be told, we find ourselves in places in life that we didn't choose but was forced on us. Oh, this is probably too good. The very state I'm in right now is not what I chose, but this was forced upon me. I didn't ask to be born in this family. I didn't ask to be in this city, but it was forced upon me. I didn't even ask to be hooked up with the people I'm hooked up to, but these are the ones that showed up, and so all this is forced on me. I'm just trying to be honest with people. Because this is what we're living our lives off of, but we don't have that moment to be honest enough to tell people I ain't where I want to be and I ain't around who I want to be. I ain't have a choice in the matter, so now I got to deal with what's forced on me. And I don't care how much I prayed, it didn't change. I don't care how much I sought the Lord, you're going to fast and he'll change nothing. And I found it to be just like God that says, Paul says, I prayed 3 times for this thorn to be gone. I wanted some change, but he wouldn't change it for me. What do you do when you won't change that he don't want and he won't give it to you? But it says, no, stay right there because this grace is sufficient. I know you don't want it. I know you don't care for it, but I'm not taking it away from you. I refuse to change because I'm using this to do something in you that you don't even know that's in you. So you stay right in the midst of it because my grace is sufficient. So what do you do when you won't change it? He won't change it for you. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do when the relationship won't get better? When my bank account won't get full? What do you do? I'm praying for it. But he won't fix, he won't change it. What do you do when it's his plan that you change and not it? What do you do? I must be teaching good today. Your call for approval. I appreciate that. Because change is difficult. Change is not easy, but the sooner we realize it's him changing us, then we stop fighting as much. Because Paul then statement becomes true. It's hard to kick against the preacher. It's hard to go against what he's doing. So Abram, let me teach this out. Abram, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred. What happens? I don't know if I'll even get through my message. What happens when God starts saying, I'm going to change your source? What happens when God says, what used to provide for you, I won't let it provide anymore. What used to make you happy, I won't let it make you happy no more. What happens? I'm talking about forced change when God is saying, I'm up to something in your life and I refuse to let things stay the same, and I'll flip the whole apple cart without your permission. What do you do then? When God starts saying, no, but you can't have it anymore. It ain't a sin, but I still won't let you have it anymore. Oh, my best friend, why we got to change? Because I refuse to let you become more dependent upon them than me, so I won't even change the situation. What do you do when God forces change on you that you are praying and saying, God, but I like it. He said, but I love you more, and so I won't let you keep what you always had. Get away from everything you've known. Come out here because you don't know me enough like this, so we got to have some changes. Everybody say change. That's the problem. We resist change unknowingly. We resist change, but God is not after us staying the same. So Abram, get away from everything comfortable because change is painful. Change is painful. So here's, I want to walk you through something. Let me be your therapist for a moment. Let me be your coach for a moment. Let me be your coach and therapist for a moment. What the problem is, and y'all, please make sure you make this a note somewhere. Take a note, text yourself. God always announces change before it happens. God always announces change in your life before he does it. Why? He's not really concerned with your appearance of it, your thought. He's smart enough to say, I'm going to do this, and I just want you to know before I do it. You can fight, do all you want to, but I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do because I have nothing to hide. It's your life, so why would I keep it from you? It's your life. So God always announces what he's going to do to you and for you. He announces it to you. So Abram, let me tell you, I'm getting ready to do something, Abram. Don't be bothered. I'm getting ready to do something in your life, and I want you to know about it. At no point in time is he asking Abram any questions. At no point in time is he asking his opinion. And I feel like I should really say the stuff I want to say. So then, why do we as clay get back to the potter saying, what do you do in my life? That's in the Bible. When the clay starts saying, what are you doing? Why are you putting me through this? Why am I going through this? And in the Bible said, at what power does the pottery get to tell the potter what to do or what not to do in my own life? Not if he's the potter. My job is to respond to the change he's given me, not fight it, not go against it. Because then, you know what the Bible says? When the pottery, when the clay becomes hard, he has to break it. Because he said, you can't stay the same way because this is not the way I want you to be. I can't use you in this capacity, so you've got to undergo some change. And everybody's saying, God, I want to be used. He said, I want you to be used, but I want to change you in the process. And so what do you do when the change gets announced to you? All right, let's walk through this. Come on, give me a few more minutes. Let's walk through this. What do you do when the change is announced to you? Everybody starts spazzing out. I know what we really do. And what we're going to say. I know. But let me tell you how psychologically correct this is. Every student, when they start saying we're going to change the school day 10 different minutes, everybody got in an uproar and couldn't do nothing about it. Couldn't do nothing about the change, but we got in an uproar. You know why? Change is painful and we don't like change. Even if it's for our own good, we just get to fighting. Every time he announces change, I'm going to dock your hours. You've been praying for more time with your family, so I'm going to dock 15 minutes. Then we get to fighting the change. We fight change, and so I want you to stop instantly, and when you start getting an announcement of change, start accepting it, start analyzing it. What is this good, is this bad? Wait a minute, is this something I prayed for or not prayed for? Because if it's something I've been praying for, then I stop fighting against the change. You know what I'm saying? Because then we become schizophrenic children saying, God, change. And when he changes, we start saying, I don't want it, I don't want it, I don't want it. And he starts saying, what you want me to do for you? Should I answer your prayers or should I not? Should I listen or not listen? Because if you're going to ask me for 50, I'll give you 50, you start saying, you should have gave me 50. I ain't giving it to you no more. So we got to be careful that we don't appear double-minded, schizophrenic, bipolar, whatever the word is, that we start rejecting the change that we need and pray for ourselves. Because then when does our Father listen to us and really know when to give it to us or not, if he listens to us? So when change comes, we need to stop responding first, but listen first. Let me get the fullness of this. Well, all right, let me give you all an example. I'm trying to make this real practical. Foy, I'm going to change your life. The four got two responses. Four get excited or miserable. Typically, we get initial excitement. And then the next 5 minutes, we get a bunch of misery because we realize everything I know is about to become unknown and uncomfortable. And we don't even celebrate the fact that he's going to change it because he's going to always make it better. But the painful thought of change kicks in and we start resisting. And we start taking inventory. Okay, I can hold on this. I can't hold on this. I can do this, can't do this. And we go through this whole process fighting change. Is this helping? I'm trying to get out of the first scripture. All right, so Abram teaches us that it is impossible to go with God and not change. Abram teaches us instantly it's impossible to go with God and not change. And if you would read any character, any narrative of the Bible, God is always taking people from this to this, from faith to faith, from glory to glory. And can I really help y'all understand the reality? God uses pain to change things. I don't know if I could drive that home any harder. When I want the disciples to get more faith, I let them get in the boat and let a storm come. And the pain of that produced them to do something different. They had to get another understanding. Mary, I know Lazarus died and y'all crying and whining, but if I wouldn't let him die, some things around here would never change. So I could have showed up early and fixed it, but then y'all would have stayed the same, and then nothing would have changed. Oh, that's too... And so God uses pain as a tool to provoke change in your life. All right. What else did Abram... let me tell you some different things that everybody make yourself a note. The overwhelming response to change is fear. The overwhelming response to change is fear. Get thee out of thy country. Oh, Lord, so where am I going? How am I going to get there? What's it going to look like when I'm there? Get thee out of that country. Go somewhere different. Who going with me? All these fear-based questions start showing up. And how are we going to do this? I ain't never been this. I don't know nothing about the place. What's the culture like? What's the temperature like? What do I need? All these fear-based things come in. And so you have to be careful of fear when it comes time for change. You got to not listen to the voice of fear. Because fear will keep you saying, we'll just keep it this way. At least I ain't suffering. But come on, deep inside, I hate the way things are. I'm very uncomfortable. And so let me ask you a question. Is the fear of change more powerful than the current pain of discomfort? If it is, let me tell you what I suggest to you and submit to you, that God will allow it to become more painful. And I know that's not encouraging, is it? That's not encouraging. All right, let me rationalize this out. I told him I'm not going to be all day on this. Let me rationalize this out. If God allows pain to cause you to change, if the current level of pain doesn't produce change, then logically I'd have to allow more pain to come to produce change. And so the pain that you feel, even if it's increasing, ain't always a sign that something's wrong. It could be a sign that he's trying to get you to change. And if you refuse to, it's possible he could allow more pain to come. You see how fighting against change hurts you and not him? Because if Ford keeps fighting it, Ford going to keep encountering a level of pain until something has to change where he can no longer refuse. All right. Everybody say security. Everything you know I consider false security. Security becomes the enemy of change. Because if your security is not tied up in him, you will not change. I don't know. I got to stop teaching these psychological messages. I got to stop teaching these psychology messages. Lord, please help me. Please help me. I feel bad all of a sudden. I got to stop teaching these psychology messages. But changes in your mind. And so I'm going to tell you, you have a lot of false security around you. If God tells you to leave your job, the moment you say, I need my job, it's a false sense of security in your job. Because the obvious statement, if I tell you to leave it, if I'm your provider, I got something else for you to provide for you. So you can't buy into the false security. If God tells me to leave, if you're dating somebody, God says leave, you can't buy into the false security of that relationship. Because if God says leave, obviously it's something better. But that false sense of security that shows us, that's too much of a shift from psychology. But that false sense of security that would cause us to become codependent on something unhealthy is something that needs to change in us. Abram, get away. Let me move on, because y'all, I'm hurting people's brains. I feel it. I'm hurting the thought process because you didn't realize how resistant the change you have been. You didn't realize it. Can I proper read to y'all? Proper read is when I don't have to discern, I just have to read it. I read people's Facebook posts and realize how much resistant they are to change. You got to prophesy. I ain't got to have no discernment. All I got to do is read. I call that proper read. Well, I read it and interpret exactly what you're saying, word for word. And as I proper read, I'm watching a bunch of people saying, he's making me change and it's killing me. And I don't like it, but I can't seem to do anything about it. And if I could just get some understanding on why he's doing this, it'll make it easy for me to undergo this. And so now I'm in search of understanding of why he's forcing this on me. Why? Because he has to be in charge. If he's going to get the results that he wants for your life, you've got to let him be in charge. And that requires change. It requires change. Abram, if you're going to become great, it's going to be because I make your name great. It's going to be because I change you to be a great nation. There ain't going to be nothing you can do about it. Abram, what I'm going to do for you involves me, not you. All I need to change, everybody says obedience. Say obedience. I could probably shut down right about here. I really could. Because this is a lot to digest. That life moves at a faster speed than I'm aware of. And I have not been aware how much stuff has changed. I have not been aware because I'm slowly becoming aware of what's already happened. All right. Everybody said one time, I say change is difficult. All right. Do y'all see all this change in this one passage of scripture? Let me show you what I call tension. I will make the great, and I will bless, and I will make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. I'm going to change you and make your name great and bless you. I'm going to change you to become a blessing. How is this different? It's one thing to be blessed. It's another thing to be a blessing. That involves change. It's change. We so used to read the scripture. We don't see change in the scripture anymore. I'm not just concerned with making you great. I'm concerned with changing you so that you can make others become great. But that's a change in our mindset. All that's a change. God is saying, Abram, you got to begin to think higher. For my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. My ways are higher than your ways. And so while you're busy saying, I need something, God said, I'm trying to get stuff to you, but for a whole different reason. But I got to change your view on it. I want you to be wealthy, but I want to change your view of what wealth is used for. So that you'll understand, I will make thee wealthy, but it's for other people, you to help other people get wealth. But if I get your view correct, then I don't mind giving it to you. But if I give it to you too fast, now you're going to blow it and abuse it. And now I'm going to look bad. So we have to go through this change process. What would happen if God would give you your perfect dream right now? You'd waste it. You'd blow it. Because inside him change, you'd be able to understand what to do with it yet. If God would have fixed all your problems right now, you wouldn't know what to do. You think you'd be happy, but you'd be lost. Because all you know is current struggle. You don't know change. You don't know it yet. And so if your bank account was full, or your relationship was great, you had the dream vehicle, the dream house, you wouldn't know what to do with life. What would you do? Be happy? And then what? What would you pursue then after you got all that? Come on, what would you pursue? What more would it be for there? Because if you did all that, you still have to change again to something else. Because if you got that, you'd plateau out and die right there. And so you got to accept the reality that things got to keep changing. I don't care what I get, it's got to keep changing. Because if you give me $1 million, the day I spend it, I'm not a millionaire anymore, so something got to change again. So I can't keep getting this. I'm telling you, the devil creates apathy to keep you not hungry, not pursuing something better. So you got to get to reality. God wants something to change my life. Because give you $1 million, you spend 99 cents, you're no longer a millionaire. And you're back to being miserable again. Does that make sense? If God, oh Lord, if God was to fix everything me and my wife want or concerned us, I wonder what would I want then? What would I want then? This is probably too rough. Because then what would I start pursuing in life if I don't change? I'm telling you, that's why it seems like all life is cracking down on superstars now. I'm telling you, every superstar comes under attack in this last 2 or 3 years. Every NFL player is under attack. Because if they didn't change, their money is causing them to change. And society said, we don't tolerate that anymore. So life has a way. God says, I refuse to let you stay the same. Because I'm after change. So all right, let me bring this to a close. Everybody say change. Does anybody really want to go through change, or do you want to stay the same? I'm serious, because sometimes we ain't ready for it. Sometimes there's nothing worse. I'm going to tell y'all as a pastor, traveling to apostolic, there's nothing worse than meeting people and working hard with them. They really come at the inside. I don't want it. Don't waste your time pretending. Don't waste your time, because that's got to change too. Time becomes valuable. Everybody say time is valuable. Do y'all think that's going to ever change? So time is going to always be valuable. So let's not waste it. What we need to do is change how we use it. All right, let me do something different. I need to shift real quickly. Everybody look at verse 4. I told y'all the key to making change good and conducive and less painless is in verse 4. Ooh, that Abram would teach. Abram would teach y'all a lesson, because Abram would teach you, if you're tired of being called what they call you, then you got to change something. I don't know if that's too rough. If you're tired of what they call you, then you got to change something. They're going to keep calling you that. Because he said, Abram, I'm going to change your name, but something got to change first. So if you're tired of being called broke, something got to change. If you're tired of being called other less traditional, accepted names inside the church, something got to change. So look at verse 4. He said, so Abram departed as the Lord had spoken unto him. And I told y'all the key to change is being obedient. Abram didn't sit and rationalize with God for 6 weeks. He didn't try to get understanding for 6 months. He didn't sit around and say, why? I don't understand it. It said Abraham departed just as God had told him to. So the key to change is whatever he tells you to change, simply just do it. End the argument about it and just do it. End it. Y'all say end it. All right, let me move on. I feel like I'm... somebody go to Daniel 2:20. I want to show you something. Because I made a lot of comments. I want to show you this in the Bible. Because you have known it, but you have not seen in the scriptures to understand what I'm telling you. I'm sitting here to tell you God is a God of change and produces change. Let me show you what Daniel says. And I got it on the screen, but I'm telling you, go in your Bible so you can see it and underline it for yourself when you get home. Daniel chapter 2, verse 20 says, Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his, and he changes the times and the seasons. Who produced the change? God did. Don't keep thinking that everything is arbitrary. He's proven to this whole earth that I control winter and summer. It don't come when y'all said it on the calendar. I control it. Just because it's June 21st, June 22nd don't mean summer going to come. I'm going to change the season when I get ready for it to change. I don't care if December 21st is winter. I'll let it snow in November. Because God has got to change. All right, did y'all see that? He changes the times and seasons. He removes kings and set up kings. God says, everything I'm interested in change. I don't leave stuff the same forever. Can I really teach y'all? I'm just about finished. Can y'all imagine if we had the same president until a president died? Whether you liked or disagreed with him, can you imagine the president never changing? We would never get anything different in our country. Okay, we would never experience change in our country. And so change becomes healthy and beautiful. Change becomes beautiful. I think that maybe that helped a whole lot. Change becomes healthy and beautiful. What if they never change the laws from let's go back to the 1800s. Forget slavery. Women couldn't work. See, we like change, but it was painful to produce that change. But what if something never changed? Where would we be as a people, as a civilization, if life didn't change? You know, I'm being honest. Because we would be stuck in some old, outdated methodologies that did not produce good results. They had good intentions, but they didn't produce good results. And so every female here will be still at home, making zero money. And I don't want to say barefoot and pregnant, but something similar to the concept. But somebody realized we got to do something better. There's more to it than what we currently experience, than we currently orchestrating. So we got to change some stuff. And so if you believe that, then you have to understand God is always saying change because there's always something better that you don't know about. There's always a different way of doing it. So God is the God of change. Watch this. And this is not, he reveals the deep and secret things, which means he even changes what people know. Because if he reveals it, it's no longer a secret, so it becomes change. And maybe let me go one more scripture, because I don't want to force you to change, because change is difficult. Change is hard. But you better understand that God is about to change a lot of stuff in your life, and he's not caring about your opinion or your approval. He's going to force it on you, because it's called change. Look at this, John 5. This might be where I stop. I don't know. John chapter 5, verse 5 through 9. This is is this making sense to anybody? Is this helping anybody? Because if not, I don't want to teach something that doesn't help anybody. Don't you go to church and go and say, "Ooh, I hope somebody got something." If you don't get something, it's wrong. It's wrong. We even have to change the way church does that. A pastor will preach and only one person gets something. That's wrong. We got to change something. We're wasting everybody's time for the sake of one. We got to change. Neither do we come and preach about one person when there's other people sitting there. We got to change that too. All right. I'm about to challenge y'all. Let me not go there. Verse 5. And a certain man was there, which had an infirmity 38 years. 38 years is a long time to be stuck in something. Oh, all right. Let me calm down. Imagine being stuck in your broken relationship 38 years without anything changing. Imagine being stuck with your bank account like it is for 38 years and nothing changing. Imagine being stuck in something 38 long years. Imagine being stuck with the same vehicle for 38 years. 38 years with the same thing every day. Imagine eating the same breakfast every day for 38 years. Imagine wearing the same clothes every day for 30 years. Imagine something not changing for 38 long years. God will let stuff get on your nerves till you get ready for change. All right. Let me not mess with anybody. Had infirmity 38 years. You know what I'm saying? Which means that this man was allowed to be this way for 38 years. 38 years in this stuck in this broke condition. And then here comes Jesus. When Jesus saw him laying down and knew what had... Look at this. Watch this. Y'all see that Jesus knew how long this man been in this condition. When he... and knew that he had been now a long time, that case said to him, he came and asked him the first important question about change. Are you ready for it? First question, the integral, the critical piece of change is, are you ready to change? Do you want to change? Because the man would have said no. Jesus would have said, stay there another 38 years. You stay just like you are. And if you don't want to, stay there. Because you can fix a person's legs and they'll still crawl. That's too deep. Because Jesus could have fixed that man. That man could have still came to the gate and begged every day. What's another year after 38 years? He's used to it. And so God starts asking questions like, are you really ready for this? Do you really want something different? And if you say no, I believe his response is, I'll keep letting you stay in pain another year until you want it. Because I'm not going to do it unless you want it, because I'm not going to force against you. Why am I going to fight with you? To give you something better. I'm going to wait till you get ready for it. And so, yes, he will let pain stay longer in your life until you change. For 38 years, Jesus knew. And Jesus said the question, are you ready to change? Do you really want to change? Are you ready? Do you really want to change? All right, let me leave it alone. Because I don't know if y'all are answering the question truthfully or not. Are you really ready to change? Or have you gotten so comfortable with being hurt that you will let it stay the same? The impotent man answered him, sir, I have no man. Here's next week's message. If you're going to really change, you got to end excuse making. It's nature to produce an excuse. Ask Adam. It's in the nature of somebody to give a logical answer to change. An excuse means I'm become comfortable. And you got to say, I'm too uncomfortable to stay this way. You can lay down so long, 30 years, that you're used to laying down, but something inside of you says, stop laying down, get on up. And so next we're going to really dissect, you aren't going to really get the benefit of change until you stop making excuses to change. How does this look in reality? I would change, but is Sister Keela going to change when I change? Is she going to treat me differently? Oh, I ain't going to change because she ain't going to do that differently. That's an excuse to change. I would be on time, but I know Zion ain't going to treat me right when I show up. That's an excuse to change. How long will you allow excuses to rob you of your change? Because the change ain't for neither one of them. The change is for me. It ain't about them. It's about me. What did Jesus say? After giving an excuse to everybody, Jesus was real quick and simple. If you want to change, here's your answer. Here's your action. Take some action on what you know now. What do you know? Here's your instruction. Get up. Walk. At that point in time, he becomes like you and me, who says, God will simply give you some instruction. If you don't take action on it, nothing will ever change. The man had a moment to make a decision. If you want to get up, raise up and walk. Check this out. And immediately change happened. So check this out. Here's my point to you. Change happens on the inside before it ever happens on the outside. I don't know if I'm doing this right. Change happens on the inside before it happens on the outside. The man had to see himself getting up before he ever got up. That makes sense. Yes. Let me do one other scripture. Just read the screen. And be not conformed to this world, but be changed. Transform means to be changed. Where does change happen? In the mind. By the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is good, acceptable, and perfect will of God. So here's what I'm trying to tell you. If you don't change your inside, you don't even know that you're changing the outside. You'll miss what God is doing in your life until you renew your mind. Everybody say, renew my mind. stuff is changing rapidly. I'm sitting here just glimpsing through. Stuff is changing rapidly. And God is really interested in answering your prayers. Sometimes, some prayers we've prayed a long time and said, God, fix this and change this. And he's at a point of doing stuff very rapidly. But we got to prepare ourselves to say, it's time to change. He's going to answer it, and I need to be ready for him to answer it now. Because if me and Sister Keela have all the time, God don't deal with her. He comes and tell me what to change. He don't tell me about what he's going to change in her. He come and tell me what he's going to change in me. Because now that all won't happen with her and anybody else because I change. And so be renewed. Let me get, I think, look, one other scripture. I'm done. This is it. And let me tell you why I say that. Because I have to keep going until I get you to a place of understanding something. And I can't stop until I understand you got it. Because God, if you don't get this, you're going to be very hurt in this season when he starts changing stuff in your life. You're going to be very disappointed, frustrated, upset when you don't realize that it's him working to produce change. Look at Matthew 9:17. Neither do men put new wine into old bottles, else the bottles break and the wine runneth out and the bottles perish. But they put new wine into new bottles, and both are preserved. Look at the message. He went on, no one cuts up a fine silk scarf to patch old work clothes. You want fabrics that match. And you don't put your wine in cracked bottles. You know what he's really saying? You don't spend all your time patching up something that ain't going to be fixed. You don't waste your time changing what ain't going to change. So you don't even invest good stuff in stuff that's broken, leaking. No one cuts a fine silk scarf to patch old work clothes. Why? It don't fit. It don't even make good sense. Neither do people put brand new wine into an old cracked bottle. Why? Because it won't be able to contain the new stuff that I'm trying to give to you. Ooh, So God said, I'm trying to change you so you can be able to handle what I'm trying to produce new in your life. Because I'm not going to keep patching up the old stuff. I'm just going to make it new. So we got to change this. We got to change. So what am I telling you today? Please work with the change of God. Please work with it, not against it. God is not interested in patching up things anymore in your life. He's interested in making it new. He's interested in changing it. And if I were to be honest, in my conclusion, if I were to be honest, I'd tell you this is why you experience such frustration lately, because God is forcing you to change. What used to work won't give you relief anymore. He's making change happen in your life. Now, let me do this. If anybody says, wait a minute, if anybody says, that's me, come on, raise your hand. Nobody look around. Can anybody perceive that God is after changing your life? Because my hand is up. My hand is up. All the vices I used to have, they don't do nothing for me right about now. All the vices, they don't do nothing for me. I used to be able to sing, and it used to work. Singing bothers me now. Because he won't let you get a fix. Because he said if that will keep satisfying you, then you'll never change. So the stuff that used to bring you joy, that you would fall back on as comfort, I'll take it from you so you'll stay in pain and do some change. And so that explains why everything starts becoming painful for you now, because he's after changing your life. I hope y'all really getting it. That's why even my last concluded diet, where life used to be hard, now you get a fix for eating certain food, it don't do nothing for me but make me fat now. Why? He says, because if I keep allowing you to rely on that, you'll never change. And so I'm concerned with you changing, and so I won't let anything hold you up from changing now. So you can be in a relationship and pray for change all day, but it says, I won't let you have an outlet anymore. I won't let it help you anymore. Because if I keep letting it help you, you won't change. And I'm after you changing. So you can run, you can do a lot of stuff, but it's going to make you more miserable until you decide, I'm going to change now. It ain't them, it ain't everybody else, it's me, God. I need to change. know y'all don't feel it, but I feel something real strong. I feel something really strong. It says God is after you changing it. You don't understand what he's been doing, why you're so frustrated, why it hurts so bad. Because he's allowed it to be so painful in the season because he's helping you change. Alexis, I want to let your family treat you right. Because if they do, you won't ever change. And so although family's supposed to be a loving place, I'll let that nest become so uncomfortable that you got to do something different. Because I'm after your change. Am I saying too much? Oh, wait, all right. I work with people. And so we have to understand that it's been God stirring up the nest to get you to do something different. Which explains why I don't care how much you've been praying. It ain't going to change. Because he's after you changing now. He's after you changing. And I promise you, if you would go with the change, work with it and stop fighting against it, life becomes so much smoother. Everybody say, take my hands off the steering wheel. Let him drive now. Let him drive. I promise you, he knows where to go. He knows how to. Just hop in the passenger seat. Listen, y'all see those bumper stickers about God being my co-pilot, all this other foolishness? I'm being honest. You know why I call that foolish? Because if I'm driving, I might kill him. Me and him going to be in a wreck if I'm the one responsible for all this driving. I need to be the co-pilot. I need him to be the pilot. Our bumper sticker should read, God is pilot, I'm a co-pilot. Because I don't know where I'm going half the time, but I know he knows. And so I'm provoking this series to help you understand why God is doing stuff in your life. I promise you, listen, don't avoid it. Don't run from it. Stick with it. Stick with it, stick with it, stick with it, stick with it. And three things. One, God is going to change you. He's going to change the people around you. So as sure as I'm standing here, God's about to change your circle. He's about to change your circle because your circle keeps you from making changes. And so he understands if I let you stay with that group right there, you won't ever make some changes. That's why God, y'all just hear me. This is my altar call for you all. I'm giving you the message. Where God is saying, I won't let your old friends support you because they are going to keep you from changing. So I'm going to take you out of your old friends and keep you away from them for a while and let them reject you. Because the pain they reject you is going to cause you to change to be somebody different now. I'm telling you. Thirdly, this might be the most painful one. God is going to change the mindset that you've been fighting against. Because real change will happen on the inside. And so he's going to change your people that you've been around. He's going to change you, but he's going to change your mind is what he's after right now. And God is about to ask you all he's going to require some people to make some real reorganization and stuff. I'm just telling you how it's going to look. He's going to start calling you to rearrange things inside your house to show you that he's changing stuff. Where you won't be to fight it. He'll start saying, move this and throw this away. And get rid of this and you don't need this anymore. You don't need all that. You've been holding on to it for sentimental value. It's like, you know what? It ain't produced nothing. You keep falling back when you look at it. So I'm going to produce some real change. You got to get rid of it. But how else will Abraham ever become Abraham unless he went with it? It said, whatever you want out of me, if you don't keep it, I can't keep it anyway. So change. God is after change. Listen. Altar call. If you're not saved, it's time to change. Let's just be simple. I'm going too blunt today with my altar calls. If you ain't saved, you need to change. That's just period. That is that. You already know why you got to do it. You know why you hadn't done it. Just change. Stop making excuses. Just do it. Stop making excuses why I can't live right. Stop making excuses why I can't live right. Yes, you can. Stop giving yourself a reason to get off the hook. I'm punching today. I know y'all I'm punching hard today. Stop giving yourself excuses why you can be the way you are. You're sick and tired of how you are. So stop giving yourself an excuse to be that way. It's time to change. And so end your excuse making for yourself and change. So if you're not saved, change today, period. If you don't have a faithful church home, change today. Stop fighting about this stuff. You got to take some action. Do something. It's real simple. And then thirdly, if you've been resisting change, stop fighting it today. Let the change be required. Stop fighting and just go through the change. Everybody say, I am changing. My mind is changing. My heart is changing. My feelings are changing. My emotions are changing. My desires are changing. Yeah, my instincts are changing. I am changing for the better today. It starts with the reality that you need to change.